Hello, everyone, and thank you for coming to see another episode of Financial First Aid. Financial First Aid helps all entrepreneurs become motivated, educated, and inspired to move forward in their new business or their existing business. Sheila Samuel, she's my guest today. She obtained a Bachelor of Science degree in Business Management from Norfolk State University. She's also a licensed real estate and life insurance agent and multi-generational real estate investor. She started a successful credit repair business in 1993 because she helped numerous people repair their personal credit and countless business owners obtain business credit. She purchased her first investment property in 1996 and then became a full-time investor in 2000. Due to the 2008 financial crisis, Ms. Samuel suffered a significant financial setback. She ultimately had to file a Chapter 13 bankruptcy in 2016. 45 days later, this is the amazing part about this, she rebuilt her credit and obtained a score over 770 with all three credit bureaus while simultaneously receiving 75,000 in funding. She presently has a credit score of over 830 with all three credit bureaus.
Oh my God! Wow!
That is amazing. Welcome to my podcast, Sheila. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. So tell us about your journey of getting to where you are now from where you started. Like what did you do when you came out of college with your Bachelor of Business Science degree?
Well, when I came out of college, I graduated in actually 92.
Oh, 92. Mm-hmm.
Yes, 1992. And when I graduated, I came out during a recession where
Right.
similar to what's going on now with the college students.
Mm-hmm.
You come out with a degree in business management, and I'm competing for the entry level jobs with people who have not only the degree, maybe even masters in business, they have the experience. So
Right.
I ended up working for the city of New Brunswick and with the after school program, coordinate the after school program. Totally different.
Right.
Totally different. I just had to, find something. I need find a job. Let's put it that way.
Right. Exactly. Yep. Absolutely.
Right. So, but I always knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I never had any intentions of working for anyone.
Okay. Great.
So, yeah. So even in college, I changed my major from nursing to business because I realized I would have to answer to someone as a nurse. That's how I looked at it. So I was like, no, that's not going to work. So I'm going to go to business management. And then once I was actually getting ready to graduate, I realized I wanted to get into real estate, and yeah, so I took advantage of all the credit cards that they were offering. And I was like, I need my credit when I get out because I have to buy real estate. And the only way I can do that is by having good credit, even when I didn't really know what credit was in a sense.
Right.
I just know, if you on campus, if you had a pulse, they'll give you a pizza and you open up a credit card.
Yep.
Except for I was very fortunate that I did not misuse the credit card. So when I graduated, I had about 8 or 9 credit cards.
Wow, that was fantastic.
Yeah, and I was able. I didn't misuse them. I used them for books, and then my parents sent me money. I would pay them off. So when I came out, I had excellent credit.
Great.
Even when I didn't know what credit really was. So when I took the job with the city, I worked with children, and I always laugh with my father because I was like, I don't even like children, but ended up loving it was a great job. I coordinate the after school programs, and even then I would encourage the kids to be entrepreneurs. After school program, I worked with children from the age of first grade to eighth grade. And so my eighth graders, I had them, you know, set up businesses.
Nice.
And
Good.
yeah, I was like, have your own business, have your own business. So once I decided I was going to leave the city to actually become a entrepreneur, because the whole time I worked for the city for 5 years, I was always looking for a side hustle. If a business opportunity came, I was there. So I looked at Amway, I looked at Mary Kay,
Okay, yep.
named it, if it was a business opportunity, I'm going to, take a look at it. I came across Primerica, where I learned a lot about finances in Primerica, right? And that's how I was introduced to credit. A gentleman.
You mean the power of credit, because you were already doing it with the credit card. That was great.
That is true. I should say I was introduced to credit repair.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yes, a gentleman came in and wanted us to be affiliates to refer people, referral agents to his credit repair. And I was sitting there like, people have bad credit like that? But I should have known, because my dad took a hit with his credit putting me through school, so I had student loans, and I used to pick up the phone and it would be a creditor.
Oh,
and
no.
he would tell me, tell him I'm not home, and I was like, my dad told me to tell you, he's always would say, Sheila, make sure you don't mess up your credit, and be have your own business. The parents they were entrepreneurs, so I was surrounded by entrepreneurs. They 9 to 5, but they always had a hustle.
Okay, cool. So, and just to I guess to get this in the context of the dates that we're talking about, at that time there was no side hustle like Lyft or Uber or Instacart or those kinds of things. This has all been in the last decade that these things have come about. But when you were talking about a side hustle, you're talking about doing a job from a 9 to 5 type job, only it's a part-time hustle or whatever. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yes. You know what? With my parents, both parents worked for a pharmaceutical company. Mm-hmm. One was Pfizer and retired from Pfizer. My dad, he worked for Pfizer. My mom worked for Carter Wallace. And as you know, in New Jersey, we have some of the largest pharmaceutical companies. So they worked a 9 to 5 till they retired, but they always had a side hustle. My mom was selling jeans and jackets out of her car, and she would come home saying that she made more money on her lunch break than she did. All for the whole month, and she made pretty good money back then. My father too. He's from the South, avid hunter. But during the season, he would sell cools and rabbits, and and all his friends, my my aunts and cousins, all had they might have worked 9 to 5s, but they had a side hustle. They would sell something. So they were all entrepreneurs.
Exactly, that's beautiful too. So what was your transition from doing Primerica to what you started?
Again, a gentleman came in and he was offering, he wanted to team up with us to refer people, clients that we were sitting down talking about finances to, if they had credit problems. So again, I was surprised because I was like, wow, you get paid for people with bad credit, to fix their credit and everything. And I sat down with him and he explained what he did, and I was like, wow, you get paid for it. So I kind of picked his brain and I pieced it together. And because I had good credit, I started experimenting with my cousins. Okay. They were like, oh, my first cousin she was like, oh, I can't, she entrepreneur, she owned a hair salon, made very good money, but just could not borrow her way out of a paper bag, so she wanted this Jeep, and she was like, I have bad credit. I said, oh, I just learned some credit repair, so let me experiment on you.
Okay.
And back then it was no social media, so you had to learn through the books and everything like that. And I experimented on her, and, and actually within, I think it was like 40 days, she actually was approved for her blazer. I still remember that blazer.
Wow.
And I was like, okay. And then just from there, I was like, oh, let me fix your credit. But again, at that point, I was, I had so many things I was trying to do, but it was all had to do with finance. So it was all tied into one thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it just began from there. I would read books, didn't know much about seminars, but I would just read,
Mm-hmm.
read and apply it. And I became very good at it. But again, being about 20, in my early 20s, and back then credit was taboo. You said credit, and they automatically say scam.
Right.
Unlike today, because of social media, which is a good thing, people just assume that, if you did credit repair, you said, I did credit. You almost had to whisper it.
Right. Yeah.
I can do credit repair. But I realized it's because, the credit bureaus spent millions of dollars, and they still do, to spin the narrative that, you can't fix your credit, or, people that do credit repair, it's a scam.
Right.
But it's ironic because they actually tried to lobby Washington in order to be able to do credit repair. So
that is ironic. So then that was the inception of New Beginnings Credit Solutions, the name of your company.
Yes.
Great.
So I was like, oh, I could turn this into a business,
mm-hmm.
And earn money.
Yep.
And so that's the concept. And then I was still looking for other things, but my first love was truly real estate, becoming an investor.
And so what turned you on to doing the investment? Like, how did you get kind of the courage to say, okay, I have my credit in order. Now I'm going to parlay that into real estate investing.
Again, I was fortunate that I had my father's brothers, mm-hmm. All of them who lived out in California was in real estate. They was in real estate. Yeah, they were investors.
Okay.
And it was was 5 of them who lived out in California.
Wow.
So all of them, and my one aunt who lived in California, they all invested in real estate.
Okay.
Even to the point that, yes. So just talking to them and seeing how and then visiting and seeing how they live due to real estate. I was like, oh, okay. But funny, none of their children, my cousins on my age level, they did not like real estate. None of them became real estate. They were successful in their own right, but they got into real estate. So I knew it was wealth in there. And so I was like, and residual income, because I was learning through the multi-level marketing companies, and being surrounded by entrepreneurs in those realms, like mine, they explained to me about residual income. I actually learned business outside of college.
Right. Exactly. Even though you have a degree in business management.
It did not prepare me to be a business owner. Right. So I knew I wanted my money to work for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And, so I was like, real estate. And even though my father was 2 of them, the only 2 that wasn't into real estate.
Mm-hmm.
And myself and my other cousin, we're the only 2 in our generations that was into real estate. So we had the
Wow.
parents that wasn't. We got into and fell in love with real estate. And my cousins who parents were into real estate, they hated it.
So
So
what is your take on the whole like entrepreneurial journey? What would you do differently now than what you did when you first started? Now that you have all this experience and information.
the first thing I would say is that as entrepreneurs, any anytime we will see a opportunity in anything. And somebody presents something, we're going to see the opportunity in it, right?
Exactly.
So we tend to, as an entrepreneur, we tend to jump all over. Something comes, let me try that. Oh, that sounds good. I can make this work. Let me try that. I would say that I would just have tunnel vision
Okay.
on one thing that I want to do. I
Mm-hmm.
would do my research. I would definitely be around like-minded people, and I would solely focus on that one thing.
Mm-hmm. And so you kind of put the credit repair on the side when you started investing in the real estate so that you could be focused in on that.
Yes, yes,
Mhm.
because I realize, credit, credit. I potential clients now. I tell credit is not difficult. It's not rocket science.
Mhm.
It's just very tedious. Like anything else, it's time consuming.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I know that the way I was going, and I didn't know about systems and things of that nature. I didn't see it getting me where I needed to be with the equity and the residual
Mhm.
income. So I
Right.
had to make that decision. I was like, okay, let me put this aside, um, and focus mainly on buying real estate and holding real estate, becoming a landlord.
Okay.
Because I
And
realized even
mhm.
go ahead.
No, I was going to say, and that kind of turned you around to say, how many did you think you needed to purchase in order to get to that place?
Yes. Once again, like I said, because I was introduced to Primerica and the multi-level marketing, I
Hmm.
learned a lot of things. And one of the things that they had us do was, know your numbers, your
Okay.
financial freedom number,
Okay.
right?
Hmm.
And that consisted of just what is financial freedom to you,
Hmm.
right? So we had to answer that question. And once you answer that question, not someone else, you pull the numbers out of the air, um, and you're like, oh, I need to make $1 million a year to have this lifestyle. That and that this, and they were like, no. Well, did you ever take a look at what would really the amount of money you would need to obtain that lifestyle?
Hmm.
So once I did that, I realized, and would say they would say, about time we get to retirement, it's not going to be Social Security. So you're going to have to,
Figure it out.
make, yeah, you're going to have to figure it out. So I always said to myself, my properties are going to be my retirement plan.
Okay. And how many did
Okay.
you get to have that feeling of uh, financial security?
You know what? I before I went to enter into bankruptcy, had to file bankruptcy. I had 7 properties in 11 units,
Okay. So you had
and
doors, as they
yeah,
say, 11 doors.
hmm
Hmm. And
and
that was a good number for you.
I'm sorry.
Because that was a good number for you because you said when as you were learning in Primerica, it was like, okay, what is your number for
hmm
financial freedom? And that was your number. And so fast forward to when 2008 hit.
Yes, 2008, the financial crisis, the real estate crash.
Yes, they call it the Great Recession.
The Great Recession, right? At that point, like I said, I had 7 properties, and the the one good thing that I did not do, I did not over leverage the properties. But if you had a mortgage on the properties, you know it just reset. I mean, unless you didn't have a mortgage, you ended up upside down.
Right.
So when 2008 hit, I had more tenants not paying me rent than rent.